So today we're going to do a short flow which is going to energise and relax the body and get us ready for the day. So the only thing that you're going to need is a small space. If you have a mat, that would be perfect, but if you don't have a mat, then just find a small space, perhaps in a corridor, a living room or a bedroom. So we're going to come to start the practice in child's pose. So if you come to either face the short edge of your mat, or if you don't have a mat, just come to sit back onto the heels and onto the knees. Take a deep inhale in here, and as you exhale, walk the hands forward, walk the fingertips forwards, and start to lower the chin, the chest and the forehead all the way down towards the mat. If you can, bring the forehead down towards the earth as you come into child's pose. As you come into child's pose, perhaps close the eyes down and start to deepen the breath, sending the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. As we start to deepen the breath, we're going to see if we can count the breath in child's pose. So as we inhale through the nose, can we inhale for the count of 3? And can we exhale for the count of 4? Inhaling for the count of 3. Exhaling for the count of 4. And as we start to elongate the breath, which means we start to lengthen the breath, we start to calm the nervous system down, and we start to kick in our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our calming response in the body. So we're elongating the breath, breathing in for the count of 3 and breathing out for the count of 4. So just take a moment in stillness and in silence to really count the breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhaling for 3, exhaling for 4. On the next inhale, we're really going to slowly walk up to tabletop pose. We're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. So you want to make sure that the hands are about shoulder width apart and the knees are about hip width apart. As we inhale, we're going to stretch out the left leg behind us. We're going to point the left toes and we're going to lift the left leg. We're going to see if we can create a straight spine from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. As you inhale, lift the leg, and as you exhale, tap the toe onto the floor. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. And see if you can move in your own time with the breath, inhaling as you lift, and exhaling as you lower. See if you can look between the hands. And on the next exhale, let's lower the knee all the way down towards the mat or the earth. On the next inhale, let's stretch out the right leg behind us, point the right toes, and as you inhale, lift the leg. Can you find that straight spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone? So you want to avoid arching or rounding the spine. We're pushing equally into both hands for stability in the wrists. As we inhale, we lift the right leg, pointing the right toes, and as we exhale, we lower. Inhaling to lift, looking ahead of you, exhaling to lower. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower, and start to move in your own time. You might want to speed up the movement or slow the movement right down. Inhaling as you lift and exhaling as you lower. On the next exhale, let's lower the right knees down. You might want to shake out the hips from side to side and shake out the head. And then coming all the way back into tabletop pose. So we're going to come into a balanced pose in tabletop. So as we inhale, we're going to point the left toes and straighten out the left leg. Either stay here and play with balance in your tabletop, or you can lift the right leg as you come into a table balance. As you inhale, push firmly into the left hands, and you want to see if you can create that straight spine from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Inhaling and exhaling to warm up the spine and warm up the hamstrings. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, plant the hands and plant the knee back down. Shake out the hips, shake out the head from side to side. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, and coming back to tabletop pose. On the next inhale, point the right toes, straighten out the right leg. And then as you exhale, lift that right leg up, coming into a balance. Either stay here for option 1, or option 2, you can straighten out the left arm in front of you. Taking a deep inhale, pushing firmly into the right hands for stability. Inhaling and exhaling. Engaging the core. We're starting to lengthen and warm up the spine. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, float the hand, float the knee all the way back to tabletop pose. Really nice. Well done, guys. We're doing really well. On the next inhale, we're going to straighten out the left leg, and then we're going to straighten out the right arm in front of us. Either we can stay here in our balance, or if we want to activate more, we can bring the knee in towards the chest, bring the elbow in, and as we inhale, we straighten out. Inhale to lift, exhale to fold, and start to move in your own time with the breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to curl inwards. And then as you exhale, float all the way back down. Wiggle out the shoulders, wiggle out the hips, breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, and then come all the way back into tabletop pose. As you inhale, straighten out the right leg, lift the right leg, take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, lift that left arm in front of you. Either stay here, option 1, or option 2, you can curl the elbow in towards the knee, inhaling to straighten, exhaling to fold. Inhaling to straighten, exhaling to fold. Start to move in your own time with the breath. And then as you exhale, float the hand, float the leg, shake out the shoulders and shake out the hips. Really nice. So for our next pose, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So we're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to make sure that the hands are shoulder width apart, and we're going to push firmly into the pads of the hands. As we inhale, we're going to take the bum back down towards the heels, and then as we exhale, we're going to lift the knees, lift the hips, and walk the feet back, starting to pedal out the feet, coming into downward facing dog. So we're inhaling in through the nose and out through the nose. Taking the feet to hip width apart. We're starting to lengthen out the hamstrings. We're starting to lengthen out the spine. A really good way to energize the body. Inhaling, exhaling. And then coming all the way back down to tabletop pose. Really nice. Just shake out the hips, shake out the legs. Lovely, guys. So on the next inhale, we're going to step the right foot in between the hands. We're going to take the right hands to the knee, and we're going to walk the hands up the thigh and onto the hips as we come into low lunge, or in Sanskrit it's known as Anjaneyasana. So we're going to make sure that right knee is slightly behind the right ankle. We don't want to overstretch the hip. As we inhale, we bring the arms up towards the ceiling and we look up. Take a deep inhale. And a deep exhale. Take one more deep inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to take the left arm back and the right arm forward as we come into a twist. So we're opening out the chest and we're opening out the spine. As we inhale, we move back to center. And as we exhale, we float the left arm forward and the right arm back. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. And then as we inhale, take both arms up towards the ceiling. See if you can reach the fingertips up to find length in the sides of the waist. We're trying to lengthen the obliques. And then as we exhale, float the fingertips down to frame the front foot. Let's step the right foot back to meet the left. Coming back into tabletop pose, wiggling out the head, shaking the head from left to right, wiggling out the hips. Really nice. On the next inhale, we're going to step the left foot in between the hands. Place the hands onto the knee. Walk the hands up onto the thigh and then onto the hips. Take a deep inhale in your low lunge. Check the left knee is behind the left ankle. Inhale and exhale through the nose. As we inhale, we take the arms up towards the ceiling. We stretch the fingertips up to find length in the sides of the waist. And as we exhale, we take the left arm back and the right arm forward. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left fingers back, right forward. Inhale back to center. And let's take a few more times on our own. Opening out the chest, opening out the spine. When we twist the body, we start to create space in between each vertebra, which is really important to have strength and flexibility in our spine, allowing us to have good posture, allowing our chest to be open so that we can breathe better. And then let's take one more. Bring both hands up to center, up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, float the fingertips down towards the toes. We're framing the front foot. We're stepping the right foot back to meet the left. We're shaking out the hips. And we're coming into tabletop pose. Really nice, guy. Well done. So we're going to come into another down dog here. So make sure that you're pushing into the joints of the fingers. The fingers are all facing forward. And you want to create a slight gripping motion in the hands to create some stability. You take the weight into your hands to protect the wrists. You tuck the toes under. You take a deep inhale through the nose. As you exhale, you float the hips and the bum up into the sky and you pedal out the feet. You look between the feet and you pedal out into downward facing dog. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, pedaling out the feet. And then from here, let's see if we can find some stillness. Inhaling deeply through the nose and out through the nose. As we inhale, we're going to take the left fingertips up off the floor and see if we can touch the right hip. Can we even look under that right shoulder? Inhale the left hand back down. Inhale the right arm off and see if you can touch the left hip. Can you look under the left shoulder? Then start to pedal out the feet one more time. And then slowly float the knees back down towards the earth. Untuck the toes. Sit back into child's pose. The bum goes down towards the heels. We walk the fingertips forward. And we float the forehead down towards the earth. And we come into child's pose. Inhaling and exhaling. As you inhale in child's pose, can you feel the inhale expanding all of the back body? And as you exhale, feel the back body contracting. So as you inhale, the back expands with the breath, and as you exhale, the back contracts. See if you can send the breath all the way through the back body. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Let's take 2 more breaths. On the next inhale, we're going to come all the way back up to tabletop pose, and we're going to come into some hip opening lunges. So when you come into tabletop pose, we're going to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. And if you're on the mat, take it off the mat. And if you're on the carpet, that's fine. Just take it kind of outside of the left hand. Then we're going to shuffle that right knee all the way back. And you can start to point the toes at diagonal. You can untuck the back toes, and then as you inhale, you can lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. We start to open out the chest, but we also start to open out the hip. Inhale in here, and as you exhale, float the left hand down towards the earth. Inhale to rise the left arm up, stretch the fingertips up, open out the chest, and as you exhale, lower. Inhale to float up. Exhale to float down. This time, stretch the left fingertips forward towards the earth. Inhale in here. See if you can feel that deep stretch in the hip. And as you exhale, see if we can draw a semicircle or half moon with the hand all the way over to the back. Inhale all the way forward, exhale all the way down. Inhale all the way up and exhale all the way down. Let's do 2 more in our own time. And then on the next exhale, let's float the fingertips back down towards the earth. You can tuck the back toes under. You can step the left foot back, the left knee back, wiggle out the hips. Shake out the head, no and yes. Shake out the hips, shake out the shoulders, and then come back into tabletop pose. Really nice, guys, well done. On the next inhale, we step the right foot to the outside of the right knee, the right hand, sorry, and we shuffle the left knee back to create some space. We can untuck the left toes, and then as we inhale, we peel the right hand up off the floor and we look upwards towards the ceiling. Exhale, float it down. Inhale to float up. Exhale to float down, and start to move in your own time with the breath. So with this movement, we're opening up the shoulder and the chest. We're also warming up the spine, and we're releasing the hips. And we store a lot of tension, a lot of emotion in our hips. So if we can release the hips on a regular basis, we can release tension from the body. And this really helps to focus the mind. On the next inhale, walk the fingertips forwards onto the mat. And as you exhale, you're going to draw that semicircle, that half moon, back to front as you inhale, starting to move in your own time with the breath. And let's just take a few more in our own time. And then as you exhale, float the right fingertips down, and then see if you can step that right knee back to meet the left. And then let's sit the bum back down onto the heels as we walk back into child's pose. Fingertips forward, forehead comes down. Take a few deep breaths in child's pose and see if we can reconnect back with the breath. Can we start to inhale for the count of 3 and exhale for the count of 4 like we did at the start of the practice? Can we visualize the back body expanding and contracting? And if you want to intensify, you can always come up onto the fingertips. Taking a few more deep breaths. And on the next inhale, let's walk the hands back. Let's come back up into our seated pose. We're going to come into a cross-legged seated position, and we're going to thank ourselves for practicing today. You can take the hands onto the knees, you can take the hands into prayer, whatever feels comfortable. You can take the palms facing upwards. Wherever you are, thank yourself for practicing today, for taking this time to respect your mind and body. I hope you all have a really lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.